Episode 11. We want to do something a little bit different with this podcast. So what we decided is every 10th, every 11th episode or 41st or 21st, 31st, 41st, etc. The episode after every 10th episode, we decided to do a review episode with Colin and I, where we go through what we learned from each guest, some of the pearls out of it. And then the other thing is sort of our own evolution in podcasting. When we started this out, I was brand new to this, so I hope you guys are a little bit gentle with me in the beginning, but we get better and better, and we actually talk about the way that we want to start interviewing people, what type of guests we want to bring on, and really shaping what the message of Hearty Gentlemen is. So I hope you enjoy this special episode with Colin and I, and enjoy episode 11 of the Hearty Gentlemen. We have a pretty interesting thing. Colin bet that I couldn't do an hour-long podcast just myself. And I said, Colin, you have no idea the delusionary mind of Jordan Boxer. This will be easy. 1 hour is nothing. That is like telling a marathon runner, I bet you couldn't run 100 meters. Have you ever noticed how marathon runner and sprinter bodies are very different? Like a sprinter is at the 100 meter, like they only go 100, 200, 300 meters, but they're like jacked, full of muscle, powerful beings. And marathon runners don't necessarily have that. I've tried running a marathon once. Yeah, well, like I was training for one. Tough Mudder I did. Tough Mudder was 18 kilometers. I did that. It took 6 hours. It was long.
Look at this.
How do you like this side of the camera?
It's bright. It's very bright.
Does the camera take well to Colin? What do you guys think?
And I'm surprised that when people look at me, they don't squint.
No, it's fine. I don't know. From my angle, I'm like, I'm going to keep looking there. You're not there. It's weird. So today, before we get started, I think we have to thank our sponsors.
Yeah, get into it.
Get into it?
Get into the sponsors.
So, first and foremost, we must thank Standardless Media.
Yeah.
Standardless Media is a professional podcast production company as well as, they're a media company that helps entrepreneurs produce high-quality professional content that can serve their business, reach their customers, and also get their message out there. Yeah. So thank you, Standardless Media. Thank you, Colin.
That's me.
That's Colin, Standardless Media.
Hey.
The other important one, and we have to thank every day, because if it wasn't for this, then my migraines...
You'd have a migraine
I'd
right
have
now,
a migraine
probably.
right now. So thank you, Migraine Rescue, and your 21-day Kickstart program to a migraine-free life.
That's a great program.
I'm very excited. It was produced and it was published by Standardless Media.
It's a really good program.
It's going to do well.
I can say that since this program, I've never had a headache or a migraine.
And how many did you have before?
0.
Oh,
there you go.
It's 100% conversion rate. We kept it the same. So thank you, Migraine Rescue, and thank you, Standardless Media.
I'm going to get comfortable.
We should also thank IKEA for providing great furniture that we had to pay for, but at a good rate.
Yeah.
And, so these episodes... there it is.
Yeah, do it.
I'm going to stare right at the camera.
You can.
These episodes are unique because what we want to do is actually every 10 episodes, Colin and I are going to have an episode to go over what we've learned.
Yeah.
So this is for episode 1 through 10, which, looking back now, I was pretty bad at my job as a podcast host. But it was fun, and I got to learn my process. And we had some great guests that made it easier for me.
Man, the first episode with John, I was... when I was editing it, I was really upset with myself. I was like, man, why are you moving the camera? I'm like, stop moving the camera.
We only had one camera angle. We didn't have the 2 cameras.
No.
I didn't know what I was doing.
Nope.
Still don't know what I'm doing.
Not yet.
Sometimes I go in and out of Ultra Instinct, but I'm like Goku when he's fighting Jiren for the first time, maybe Kefla. For those of you who understand Dragon Ball Super, you know what I mean.
Yep.
So, yeah, we're going to go over like what we learned from those 10 guests, what the process was like for the podcast for those 10 guests, the messages that we learned that we think you can take with you. And then,
I think the first 10 episodes were, because, I guess we don't have to talk about like where we are now, but like the first 10 episodes were very informational. And as we keep going, it's going to turn into more emotional and informational. I think.
You're right. I'm not like, so, because the first one I was like, okay, let's dig deeper. Let's ask these questions. Let's really get info on, gut health. But it's like, yeah, gut health's important. But like, what's the emotional tie? Like, yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
So John Dempster was our first episode. Dr. John Dempster, naturopathic doctor.
Yeah, he was great.
One of the leading functional medicine practitioners in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
And he's launching his gut health program, which I don't know if it's launched by now.
It might be. Definitely by the time people see this, it should be out.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure.
That was a good podcast.
I liked it.
We're going to have a similar topic on this week, actually. We have Cassandra Hope coming on.
She's going to talk about gut health?
Specifically IBS.
Okay, true. Man, IBS. A friend of mine has IBS. I won't name him, but you know who you are. And yeah, it's hard. Really hard.
Well, it's sort of a bullshit diagnosis is what I'm learning. That it's not really like, it's just like, yeah, you got IBS.
Yeah.
But why?
Yeah.
Like
why?
two people won't have IBS for the same reasons.
Exactly.
And man, who were our first 10 episodes?
We had John Dempster, Zach Pease.
Pease.
Who's number 3? Who's number? I can't remember. I can't remember. I know Jillian was in there. I believe she was number
Selena.
10. Selena wasn't in the first 10.
No?
No. Selena was like...
Andy was 11 or 12.
Andy was 12, so we're not even going to talk about Andy right now.
Guys, we're fucked. We have no idea who our first 10.
Keep going. Do your Bill Burr rant.
Okay, so...
Just checking in on you.
What can we talk about today? What's like something that's really grinding my gears?
Grinding your gears. Peter Griffin over here.
Family Guy. I miss movies being special. I feel with Netflix, it's like great because everything's bingeable and you can watch whatever you want. There's tons of new content coming out. Everyone wants new content. But like, when was the last time you got really excited for a movie to go see it in the theaters? Like, even Avengers was like a big deal. And maybe because I'm older, the excitement lasted for, I don't know, a day, 2 days.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I feel like things don't last as long as they used to last.
Definitely not.
Like the idea that I remember Star Wars came out when we were kids, like the Darth Maul one, and that was built up for like forever.
All right.
You got the list?
Episode 3 was Emily Lipinski.
Oh, damn. Emily had her baby.
Did she?
Yeah. She had her baby since then, obviously.
So then you guys saw her very pregnant, and now she's had a baby.
Yeah. So Emily talked about thyroid health.
Congratulations, Emily.
Congrats, Emily. Congrats, Kevin. And I won't say the baby's name. She might not want the name out there, but
yeah, Bill Burr doesn't say the name of his kid, just to keep it under wraps.
I think it's important.
The
kid has no control. Why would you take that? Like,
yeah, that's true.
So Emily talked a lot about thyroid health, which is traditionally a female issue, is what it's viewed as, because women get it more than men.
True.
But it does affect men. It affects your ability to gain muscle, lose weight, mood, motivation. So the first episode's really messed Colin's mind up at how potentially screwed up he could be.
Yeah, every episode does that. And every episode should do that for people watching at home. I mean, not mess you up, but like...
give you a new thing to think about.
Yeah, new things to consider.
Can you actually read that? Who's number 4?
Number 4 is Mike. Say his last
Mancini.
name. Mancini?
Mancini?
No, it's not Mancini.
Mancini.
It's Mancini.
Mike, okay. That was a good one. That guy's a workhorse, always wanted to evolve himself.
Yeah, he was a very good one. I'd like to have him on and get more into like his background, like where he came from.
He'll come on. He's in Grand Rapids or Prairies.
Yeah, he let us know that he couldn't come to the launch. He said if he was in Ontario, he would for sure be down, but not able to make it.
It's okay. That one was our first like conversation based one.
Yeah. You guys just got into it, and he had a lot to say.
Yeah, because like Dr. Dempster, Zach, and Dr. Lipinski, it was like I was going in interview mode. Yeah, like I didn't want to show myself at all. Almost like, no, it's all about them.
Exactly.
But Mike, because we just had that dynamic. It was like flipped on.
Yeah, Zach was conversational too, but I mean, like you did have to like really ask him a lot of questions because he's not like a super talkative guy.
Dude, the guy's trained to be a badass. Did you see the photo that Ben posted?
Of course. Well, Zach posted it too.
Or Zach, yeah, he posted. He went from like sort of in shape to like diced. I didn't know there's this new term, diced.
I didn't know that either.
It's like a new thing.
I'm going for that now.
Yeah, diced.
I'm gonna get diced.
Okay, hold on. Let's see who's after.
Does that actually work?
No, it does, but not for that.
Wow.
I learned it because I used to not want to wear my glasses and I didn't know how to wear contacts.
Here, look at this superior genetics over here. Melissa Ramos. That's what it says over there.
Ooh, that was fun. That one was fun. Melissa. How do we forget about Melissa? I was nervous with that one.
Yeah, you were
because she's like she has a pretty big following. She's in our nutrition world. She's sort of like a celebrity.
Yeah,
she's been on TV. She's been interviewed by all these people. She's interviewed people like Deepak Chopra.
Has she?
Yeah.
Oh wow,
I know. And then there's me, and I'm like, don't know what I'm gonna do. But so I met her once. That was actually interesting. Talk about like universe working out. I met her once at the Archangel event.
Yeah.
Like a small little gathering. And we spoke a bit and we sort of knew I introduced myself. She told me who she was. And then randomly me and Ofer were walking on the street and I'm like, oh, hey, Melissa. And she's like, hey. And I'm like, that's funny. I actually was thinking about you. I really wanted you to have you on my podcast. She's like, yeah, 100%.
Really?
Yeah. It was like a total random walk by. She was going for dinner down the street from my house with her husband.
That's how that happened.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
And like, she's super busy and like, I don't know how she made time for the podcast.
Yeah. I don't know how many people make time. Because we've interviewed a lot of
30-something people.
And they're all like busy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, none of them are like just sitting around.
That was fun though. Melissa's was good. If you guys haven't heard that one, interesting story to how her company got founded.
Yeah, you guys talked about shit for a while. But you didn't use the word shit.
No, crap, poop.
And I hate that word. I don't know why. I have no idea why. I have to like see a therapist about it.
No, that's okay. But well, like, Jillian was on after her, right?
No, Jillian wasn't on after her. Marnie was. Marnie Luck.
Marnie, yes. The vagina dialogues.
The vagina celebrity, she said.
She's a vagina celebrity. So that one shocked all of us a bit, some of the facts. I'm like, there's a difference between a vagina and a vulva.
She was really... Yeah, she it was very, there was a lot. But yeah, it took in a lot. All vaginas are different. They're shaped different. Smells are okay, I guess. Talking from a guy's perspective, it's a little hard to deal with.
Well, no, she just went into why it happens. It was actually very, like, she went deep into like menstruation cycles. And I was like, I didn't know that. You can get pregnant. You can get a girl pregnant even if you have sex on her period, in the middle of the period.
Yeah, which is...
That was like a little bit of a... She said it's rare, but...
It's a shock, but it's not at the same time. Like,
oh, no. I think a lot of guys are like, no, she's bleeding. It's safe.
No, yeah, exactly. We all have that image, like, for some reason. But, like, where did that come from? Like, why do we think that?
Because they think that since she's bleeding that the eggs are gone.
We think, like, the walls are coming down, so nothing can attach to the walls. But, like, think about how much sperm comes out when you know?
Man, we had some... Like, those first guests, those are good guests.
Yeah. Like
this has been a lot of fun this summer.
Yeah, man.
The summer's gone by like that's me snapping.
Yeah.
But we've done a lot of stuff. Well, I don't know if people are going to watch it.
Yeah, and iTunes. Yeah, some people might.
iTunes,
we actually have to start describing
SoundCloud.
Yeah, we have to describe things sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot about that.
We got to get on SoundCloud.
Why SoundCloud?
Why not?
I don't know.
Apparently it's easy to share.
It is.
And
it's
Podcast Bay.
Podcast Bay. The gentleman from Universal, he was talking about something called Castbox. He said that's like a really good one. So I'm going to look into that.
Hopefully he'll be on soon.
See, and those are the other things that I want to step up and be able to do. Like I got to move on and start doing that.
You guys are seeing something, like we're going to show you the process.
Basically, right?
The process, starting a podcast from nothing. It's not like I'm Joe Rogan and I've been in front of millions of people before and it was so simple. I was just this guy who had no idea how to interview.
No idea. And you got a lot better. Like extremely better.
That's good. I'm happy.
Like you got a lot better. You have almost done as many interviews as I have, which is pretty shocking because I was like way ahead of you when we started.
And we got one more today, one more tomorrow, one more Sunday. Next week, do we have anybody? Maybe.
Yeah, I think so. Possibly.
And then we're gonna have to pump the brakes because summertime slowness is gonna stop.
Well, we're gonna start putting them out.
Yeah. Like for those of you watching. August 29th, but guess what? You've already known that because this is going to be episode 11. Exactly. Okay, so what's after? I can't read. After Marnie?
Number 7.
Brian?
Julian.
Oh, man. Is he coming to the party? Yeah. Is he coming to the party?
Julian's so good. I love that laugh. Fuck.
No, but what made the best is like, ha ha ha! He just stopped it. He would laugh and it would just stop. I'm like, there's no descent.
No, it was so good.
When is Julian coming to the meet and greet party?
He said he's not going to be free until like 10. He's like, try your best to extend it so I can come. So he's going to make his way.
Sure.
But we did say onwards, so we'll see.
That should be good.
I really hope he does.
Julian's was really good. And then after Julian was...
But you know something with Julian? We completely fucked off on the whole breathing thing. We were supposed to do that for 30 days.
I've been breathing.
I did it
every day.
I did it for like 10 days.
Thousands of times.
Yeah, I know. But like, what was it? Source breath?
Yeah. I've been doing a lot of other shit, but yes, I should. I've been meditating every day, journaling every day.
Do you? Mm-hmm. You've been journaling?
Yeah.
What do you write about when you journal?
Oh, it's secret.
Is it like inner? Like, well, you can. Is it inner thoughts?
Okay,
is
so
it
like I had a thing where I'd always want to reach out to everybody.
Yeah.
And it's good to reach out to people, get their perspective, and just talk about things. But it's like an oversharing thing sometimes. So what I said is, you know what? Let's like write things down. Like I wanted to talk to them about it, like whoever that person is.
Okay.
So instead of like reaching out and talking, I'll just write it down. Like this is what I think. And
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Look at you.
I know. Brings me a lot more into the present moment.
Does it?
Yeah.
Is there any that you write out and you're like, I gotta say this?
Some.
Or do you always just like?
No, some, but most no.
Really?
Yeah, because they don't need to be said. There's just like some mental chatter that doesn't have to be said.
You know what? I actually do that too, but I do it out loud. Like I'll be like by myself and I'll just like say it out loud, like as if the person's there.
So I think this. Yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah.
For me, it's writing it does something. I don't know. It just like gets it out there.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is for me. Like I just get it out and it's like it's out there rather than. And as I say it out loud, I start to kind of hear it and like maybe it's a stupid thought that I'm having or maybe it doesn't make sense and then I get to debate that kind of.
Well, as Julian said, where do the thoughts come from?
What did he say? They come from source.
Source or
yeah, that's how I know it.
Who was after Julian?
After Julian was Mr. Brian Hearty.
Oh, and he did 2 episodes back to back.
Back to
Brian,
back.
Brian's voice. That was the first time I had like, I was really self-conscious about my voice. He sits down. He's like, I've lived in the jungle, but I can't even do his voice. It's so like smooth and deep.
It was he was the first radio voice that we had, pretty much.
Yeah, I'd say mine's like intern radio voice. His was like late night.
Yeah.
Jazz.
Exactly. His is like late night, like made for radio. Yours is like Kiss FM, you know, Rush Hour.
And then Andrews is like, no, Andrews is that Scope chick.
Oh yeah. Andrew could definitely.
And we got to go live too. And I see he does it better. So Brian, that episode. So we did one with him because I really wanted to understand what happens to you when you do 50 ayahuasca journeys in 5 months and live in the Amazon.
Yeah.
And that was really good. But then in the second episode, we just started talking outside after the episode. Just in case you guys were wondering, yes, when the episode's done, it doesn't mean we stop talking. And we talked a little bit before, too.
Definitely not. We start talking a lot more unfiltered. It gets really unfiltered.
Some people.
Yeah.
I'm not going to name who.
I start yelling racial slurs and all sorts of stuff. I'm kidding. I don't.
He does. So, and then we were talking about, like, he's like, oh, man, I wish I would have said this. Porn addiction is like my number one thing that I got rid of when I lived in the jungle, and I want to talk about porn addiction. I was like, let's just film another episode. Boom, he came in. We did that second episode, which was great.
Because he was like, it came up, I think, because he was celibate. Like he brought up celibacy or something.
No,
like that?
he just, there was no one there except for, well, I don't want to ruin the story in case people haven't heard it. Guys, if you have not listened to Brian's second episode, first episode's great, but there's a story in his second episode that will make all men feel pathetic.
No, don't feel pathetic.
No, just like.
But it is like a movie. Like just like if that was in a movie, that would it was better than The Notebook, pretty much. Like that little story that he let out.
So please go back and listen to that if you haven't.
How the man lost his virginity. Mm-hmm. It was crazy.
Okay, so who's after that?
After Brian, Jillian.
Ooh,
Jillian was fun.
Jillian has helped me and some people close to my life a lot, so I got a lot of respect for her. She did a lot about how your body's programmed and your thoughts are programmed and how to take control of those thoughts or rewrite them.
I want to do that with her.
Yeah.
Every person I meet, I'm like, fuck, I want to work with this person.
I know. We should start charging them to come on the show. Just their services.
Yeah.
How many listeners do you have? 0. What?
Great.
Oh, man.
Yeah, she was good. She was very informative. I liked her a lot. I liked her energy. Mm-hmm. Very calming energy. She was a hypnotist, right?
Yeah, that's why she puts you in that state of like
How is it? You got hypnotized. What's it like? Are you still aware?
Yeah, it just voices come to you a lot quicker.
What do you mean voices?
Like just your internal voice, you like hear it. Like your ego separates a bit. There's like your subconscious ego and like your spirit or your higher self, and they like talk to each other a lot easier.
Really?
Yeah, that was my experience.
So
I saw aliens once when I was hypnotized. It freaked the shit out of me.
What do you mean you saw them?
Like I was sitting there, closed my eyes, and all of a sudden this like face. So my hand, it like turned into me, and it was these big alien eyes, and I woke up. I was like, "What the?"
Oh, you got probed, eh?
And then,
That's what it was.
I don't know.
For sure.
Okay, next topic.
Jamie, edit this part. He got probed. That's what happened, right?
No.
So then what was it?
I don't know.
Because we can't move on. She's number 10. So
That's
explain.
it? Those are the 10?
Yeah. So explain. Because we did Brian twice, right?
Mm.
So what? You got hypnotized and like, are you still there? Like you just said you woke up. Like
yeah, you have, okay, it's not what people think. Like if you watch these shows with these hypnotists and like, oh, bark like a dog, you want to bark like a dog.
you want to.
Yeah, like you're doing it yourself. Like I don't know, she didn't do anything to me that I had full control of my thoughts. We like did one therapy where it was like, tell me the first time you felt angry, and I was like this, and I said it, and it was like back when I was like 3 years old.
So are you able to access those memories easier?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
That's weird.
I know.
Weird
Yeah,
stuff like that.
It was cool, man. I've sent a few people to her, and they've all had life-changing results.
Really?
Yeah. I'd credit her. I started seeing her in January. Like I knew this year I had to change my software.
Yeah.
Worked a lot on my hardware.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, until I change my software, my hardware is not going to change anymore. So she works at my friend Sachin's clinic, the Living Proof Institute.
Oh, does she?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And Sachin credited her. He's like, no, it's amazing. The Mindset Mastery Program.
Turn that thing into your face.
This?
Yeah, there you go.
So I went to go see her in January or February.
Yeah. And that was it.
That was it.
So she's part of it. So you had a lot of people help you out this year.
It was a fucking torrential year.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, man. I think back of like how much I've changed. I'm like, I can go back at any moment to my old self, but
What for?
I just like anyone could go back to who they were.
Yeah, of course.
But there's no point to.
No, man. There's no point. You're better now. Like a lot better now. So much better.
It's crazy.
Yeah. It's actually crazy.
Well,
You're much more rounded now.
I'm fatter.
Yeah.
You guys will see my transformation of how much weight I lost in my face from episode to episode.
That's true. They will see that. From like right now to the first episode, yeah, you were a lot thicker in the first episode. You're puffy, like Ben was saying. I was puffy back then. You're puffier.
Yeah, so it's been fun, these 10 episodes.
Yeah. The first 10.
We've learned
were
a lot.
Cool. You've come a long way, and the conversations have come a long way. But I guess this episode is like to make sure we're staying on track. So the 10, that's what we did. The next 10, since we already shot it, let's let the cat out of the bag. We already shot.
Guys, we've shot 34 episodes.
Yeah, we're already 34 deep.
We've been delayed on this one, but it was important for us to do it.
But the next 20, they get more in depth. They get more emotional, I think, as things go on.
Well, you know what's crazy?
You get more energy type people.
It wasn't even no. Yes, but it wasn't even purposeful. It was like we had Ben on and then Dave, and we had like Darren on and then Victoria and then it's like and Selena. It's like people were coming in packs.
Yeah.
Of the same thing. Like we had 3 episodes around the same topic. It didn't even mean to happen that way.
Yeah. Exactly.
And then like look what we have. We have adrenal fatigue, IBS.
Yeah.
Oh, we're bringing Daniel on. So we're bringing in my direct supervisor at Designs for Health. That's going to be fun.
Yeah, that will be fun. I hope.
It will be.
I hope it's fun.
But yeah, it's weird. It was in packs. Yeah, we got a lot more energy people in the second group. Talked a lot about the energy world, conscious masculinity. Darren Austin came on. Was an amazing podcast.
Yeah.
Selena came on. She was awesome. Tracy came on. That's right. Twice.
That's what I mean.
Tracy is
Roland,
Selena,
Roland,
Tracy.
Like just out of nowhere.
And it's like Tracy's super busy.
I know.
And somehow came on our episode. First, the scheduling got messed up, which I don't think you knew about. I don't know if I told you.
What do you mean? We
had like a miscommunication over email about when she was going to come on the podcast. I'm like, no, this time won't work. It was like And then she came in and it was like, boom. And she stayed for a long time. And then she was like, yeah, I want to come back. And I'm like, okay, fine. Sure. Awesome.
Yeah.
But she's like so busy and still came on the podcast.
Yeah, twice.
Says
something.
Was J-Max on the second 10? We shouldn't do this right now, though. We should stop.
No, yeah, we shouldn't get into that
Guys,
too much.
Girls.
But like, let's just talk about what Hearty Gentleman is about.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah, there you go.
So the idea of Hearty Gentleman is I've had a lot of good mentors and people who have guided me to think a little differently than the standard masculine paradigm. So when men think of what it means to be a man, generally it's the same thing. Strong, silent, do your stuff, take leads, don't be vulnerable, get everything done, be the master of your own domain, all these things. Macho man. And somehow in my 20s, I sort of got brought onto a different path to be like, no, you know what? It's okay to talk about your feelings. It's okay to connect with somebody. Work on your mind, work on your energy body, work on your emotions, keep in shape, ask questions, don't be scared to put yourself out there. Like all these things that aren't normal.
For you, what was the first thing that triggered you into this kind of path? Because I can remember mine.
Which path?
Like just like to broaden your perspective to think that way. Like, what was it? Do you remember? Like, what triggered that?
The first thought I ever had that was different from most people, I was sitting with Matthew Romaine. He was my best friend, grade 1 and 2.
Okay.
And we were sitting in my backyard, and it was a long summer day. And I was like, yeah, you get a certain amount of coins. Every time you die, you got to spend a coin. You come back, and you can pick whatever way you want to come back. And that was like my thought. I just sort of knew it.
The hell are you talking about?
I'm being serious, dude. I thought like that you get reincarnated.
Really?
And that you get a certain amount of coins. It was like 18 or 28 or something. And there was an 8 in the number.
Did you guys just finish playing Sonic the Hedgehog?
No. And I just was like, yeah, you pick your life and you live that life. And then when it's done, you come back, you just spend a coin. And you can wait how long you want to come back. Some people are like, yeah, I want to go right back. And some people are like,
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Because Sega Genesis.
I didn't have Sega.
You didn't have Sega?
No.
What did you have?
Super NES.
Oh, so you're playing Mario.
Which has a mushroom in it.
And it has coins. There you go.
Anyways.
And you can come back whenever you want. What? Like, that's what it was.
Sure.
You were playing Mario, and you were like, I get to come back. You're like...
No, it was a different thought pattern.
But what was the biggest thing you said in your 20s? What was the thing that triggered you?
So in the 20s, I had a very rough breakup with the first woman that I dated for like a long period of time.
The first woman you dated was in your 20s?
We ended in my 20s.
Okay, true.
Me too. We started dating when she was 19, I was 20. What's the legal drinking age? 19?
I think so.
Yeah, so she was 19. I was 22, 22, and we dated for 3 years.
Oh, okay.
And we didn't know how to navigate things properly. We didn't end on good terms at all. Like I don't even know the last time I spoke to her. Mm. But there was this article for nude yoga in the newspaper. And I was like, oh my God, I want to, maybe that, like I was doing yoga. I'm like, maybe I'll go. And then there's another thing called Tantric Tuesdays. And Tantra is all about like weaving things together. So like weaving your emotions, your spirit, all that stuff. And I went to this course, and Victoria, who's been on this podcast.
Yeah.
She's episode, I don't know.
Yeah, she's been on it.
We'll talk about her episode later.
Yeah.
She was not teaching that course yet. It was somebody else, but that's where I met Victoria.
Okay.
So I went to the course, and they were talking about like being vulnerable and authentic relating and what it means to ask permission and consent. And when you don't even realize that you don't want to do something, like it's okay to say no. But that first class, I went there, and one of the exercises that stuck out the most, one person was on one end of the room, your partner was on the other. So you were on one end of the room, your partner was on the other.
Yeah.
And one person was lead and one person was follow. If you were lead, I had to look into the person's eyes and I would walk forward. And the follower would have to follow how many times I walk. So we're coming into each other. Mm-hmm. When the lead felt uncomfortable, they had to put their hand up. So it was to teach people, A, you can lead, because a lot of people don't realize that they can lead in life. They're used to just being followers. And also for the follower to realize when they're vulnerable. And they made me do it with a woman and a man.
And you like the man better?
It was weird, man. I'm not going to lie to you. It was strange. It's like, I don't want to do this with a dude. Like, I'm coming to Tantra. Where's the women?
Yeah, like, did you go in there thinking this is all going to be about sex? And then
I'm not going to lie to you. I went there being like, oh, I'm recently single, Tantra, probably meet a girl, be easy to have sex with. But within the first, 20 minutes, I knew that's not why I was there.
True.
Most men come there for that reason.
That's great.
And left.
Oh, yeah?
Most men would come there. Like, what I would notice is out of 30 people, 25 of them were women. Okay. 22, 25 of them were women. Most of them recently divorced.
Okay.
In their early 30s to early 40s, like that period. The other people were men. 80% of those men were there just to think because they thought they were going to get laid.
Wow.
It would be me and maybe 2 or 3 other dudes who would actually come every week. And then I got really sick. I went away for my mom's 50th birthday.
Yeah.
2009.
Okay.
So I was 20. Oh, right around that time too. That year too was a trend. Yeah, that was great. That was 7-8 years ago now. So I got really sick. I went on a cruise, and then all of a sudden, on the way back, my lymph nodes swelled up. I was sweating. I dropped 14 pounds in a week. I was convinced I had cancer. Like my one male cousin had brain tumor, and my other male cousin had, and on different sides of the family, my other male cousin had leukemia, and I was like, yep, this is me. I'm done. Like my lymph nodes were swelling. Like it was crazy how sick I was. I went from working 4 days a week, 4 p.m. or Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 3 days a week, 4 p.m. to 4 a.m. and going to school full time. And I had another part-time job, and I had the energy to do it all. I was like unlimited energy. I went away for my mom's birthday. On the way back, throat started scratching, lymph nodes swelled up, sweating. I was like dying. I couldn't even put in a 3-hour shift at work anymore.
Yeah. What was it?
No one to this day knows. So I kept going to the doctor. At that point in my life, I was going to be in finance. So I wanted to sell alternative energy. I was taking environmental science in school, and my goal was to make things like solar power, wind power financially viable and sell that. That's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So I got an 87 on my first securities exam. I was so sick, I couldn't break the 60% on the second part.
Oh, yeah?
I just couldn't concentrate. My brain was a constant fog. So what the securities exam said is, hey, if you have a valid reason, I'm like, I've been sick. Do you have any proof? I went to the doctor 36 times in 52 weeks.
And then what
and
happened?
No one knew what was wrong with me. They just kept running blood tests.
So can I ask you if you had a naturopath, you think they would have figured it out?
Well, yeah. I'll tell you what happened.
True.
So I then out of nowhere, it was a summer night, and my stomach started really hurting in my bottom right. So I went to the doctor, my typical doctor, and they were like hammering my stomach. They brought my knee up, and they go, I think you might need to go to the hospital. I think your appendix is about to explode. And I was like, what? No, I don't know. And they're like, no, just go. So on the way there, luckily, my stepdad was like, listen, before we take you there, I want to take you to somebody else. He's a client of mine. He's a medical doctor, but he does all this other crazy stuff too, like natural stuff.
Yeah.
But let's see what he says. So we go. I'm not going to say his name, but he's like a 72-year-old man at this time.
Yeah.
And he's not really practicing, but he's helping my dad out, or my dad helped him out a lot with his computer. So he's like, yeah, I'll look at your son. So we go to him, and he's like, your appendix is fine. You have leaky gut. Stop eating dairy. Stop eating bread. And I can't really help you because I don't have time, but you should go see this person who was an acupuncturist. It's so funny at the time. I'm like, no, I'm lactose intolerant. That's what I thought. Because he's like, stop eating dairy. Instead, it was just like, don't eat dairy. So I went to the acupuncturist that he told me to, and I went from like 20% health back to like 60, 70. They were doing acupuncture on me 3 times a week. I was on herbal medicine, and I was like, I need to work in this industry. So I went to go look for my first job. Because at the time, I owned a tea store called Tea Necessities.
Oh, I remember that.
And I was working at my dad's computer store. And I just couldn't work for him anymore. It just, the whole dynamic. And my tea store was doing well, but my girlfriend at the time was also working at David's Tea. And she was, I don't know why, but she was like, you should take life seriously, stop with your little tea business thing and go get a job. And I listened. And I was selling tea out of the front of my stepdad's store, and I was selling like $2-3K a month.
Of tea?
Of tea.
Yo, you're really good at sales, eh? You just
I think it was that much. I don't know. It was like starting to turn a profit, like I was actually making money.
Thank God you never came across Coke or anything. Jesus.
So I listened to her, and I went to a recruiter. And I'm like, what the fuck am I going to do? I have an environmental science degree. I don't really have much skills, but let's see sales. So I went to Sales Toronto, or I don't know, some sort of sales only recruiting company. And there was a job there for a natural health company. And I was like, I have to get this fucking job. This is what I'm meant to do. I apply. She gets me an interview, my recruiter. I thought I did well. Turns out they go, you're not a nutritionist. We're not going to hire you.
True.
She also got me an interview at this place called Terrago. Terrago does telecommunications, which was a blessing in disguise because I had to sell a really hard product. Terrago hired me. But then I wasn't satisfied not working at that natural health company. They were called Soroil. Mm-hmm. So I emailed the CEO because I had his contact. And I emailed him every month for 9 months. Is there a position open yet? I really want to work for you. I know I'm not a nutritionist. I promise I can learn. I'm learning things now. I want to work for you. This is what I want to do. This is my life's passion, blah, blah, blah. Then at the 9-month mark, they go, Jordan, we have a position open. Come in for another interview. We want you to meet the new VP of sales. It's so funny how things work out. So my current VP of sales was the one who was there when I wasn't getting callbacks. But I never met him. Yeah. If I don't even know if I would have taken that job when he was there, if I'd be working where I work now. Mm-hmm. But I come in, I meet Jeff Funtaz. He was the VP at the time. And he was like, yeah, you know what? We need someone like you. I need a disruptor because that industry is too much like nutritionists go and sell. And he's like, you like to sell. Why do you like to sell? I'm like, I want to sell a product I truly believe in. That's my mission. And I believe in these products. Like they changed my life. So they hired me, and that got me into the whole natural health industry. And then I became obsessed.
That's fuck.
And that's why, like, this podcast, that's why I bring on a lot of naturopaths and chiros and fitness people, because, like, something they've all said, if you don't, we always hear it, if you don't have your health, you have nothing else. I didn't have my health for a year, and I probably wasn't even that bad compared to most. And, like, life sucked. Yeah. Being a 24-year-old man who was so sick that honestly, like, I couldn't even, like, get an erection some days. Like, I was so drained, not knowing what was going on with me. Like, at 24, that's, like, the end of the world.
Definitely.
And, like, I couldn't party. I couldn't hang out with my friends. All I wanted to do was sleep. Like, I had no energy. Nothing was exciting. And I'm like, this can't be the way I want to live. I mean, like, that's what got me into where I am now.
Wow.
So that's why for Hearty Gentleman, a big part of it. And then recently the whole like, and I got into Reiki when I was 23, 24 around that time. My mom introduced me to Reiki. She did Reiki before me, introduced me to her teacher. She actually paid for me to go the first one because she's like, I think you'll like this. So like all these things I've been interested in for years.
Wow. That's crazy.
Which is why I really want to do this podcast. That was one of the big reasons.
Holy fuck.
And that's why I broke into all these different topics.
Jesus.
I know.
That's amazing. I had no idea it was to that extent.
Dude, it was bad. Yeah, it was really bad. I actually, for like a good like 2-3 months, I thought I had cancer.
For sure.
Because I kept losing weight. My energy was gone. My cousins both had it. None of it made sense to me. Wow. I look back at now, I probably picked up some sort of virus when I was away. 100%. I was eating shitty food, so I was inflamed.
Parasite.
And my adrenals were probably zonked from working.
And worrying.
Well, dude, I was working. Okay, so this was actually my schedule at the time. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 4 p.m. to 4 a.m. working at Foundation Room. At the time, because I was in finance, Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. at One Financial. Mm-hmm. So Thursdays, I'd work till 4 in the morning, drive home, pass out,
for like 2 hours. I was working downtown, drive home to Richmond Hill, take the GO train the next morning to the work at 8 a.m.
Wow.
And then I was going to school Tuesdays and Monday and Wednesday nights. Sorry.
So this is why Mike would talk so highly of you, for sure.
It didn't even feel like I was hustling. I still felt lazy.
Because at that point, me and Mike were hanging around each other quite a bit, and yeah, he would talk about you like you were the top hustler that he knew, top performer.
I loved it, man. I loved working at the nightclubs because it was like I had friends, but like I was at the cool place. And like back then, I maybe clubs aren't the same they are now, but back then, like the supper club experience was so cool. I was 18 years old or 19 years old when I started, and I was working at like the hottest clubs in Toronto. Like it was a cool feeling to be like, "Ha, you guys are waiting in line to get in where I'm going to be." And then because of that, there's this whole thing about industry. So if I worked at Brand House and me and my friends wanted to go to Chevelle, and it was a Sunday and I wasn't working, I'd walk up to the door and I'd say, "Hey, what's going on? My name's Jordan. I work at Brand. Like Big Rob." Yeah. He told me I could come up and say hi to you. Yeah, man, come. How many are you? 6? Yeah, come in. I would get in front of the line. None of my friends would pay. So I felt like the coolest motherfucker all the time. And like clubbing was cooler back then than I think it is now.
Yeah, definitely.
Like I speak to some of my friends who are still in the industry. Like I'd randomly see them and they're like, yeah, Tinder probably killed it or something, but it's not the same.
It's definitely not the same. Yeah, Tinder would kill it because like there was a hunt before. Where now it's like there's not as much. So,
yeah, that was a lot of fun. And then I really thought I was wanting to work in finance. So that was interesting. One financial. So we had this guy, Jeff O'Brien, that'd come into Brand House all the time. And I knew I wanted to get into finance because as much as environmental science was a passion, I knew if there was no money, none of this shit would get done. Yeah. So that was always my goal. Like, let's raise money and fund these like green companies.
True.
And I was speaking to Jeff was a regular at Brand House, and I would be his busboy and barback, and we just started talking. And then I got introduced to him through my friend Kenny at the time. And that summer, I was barbacking. Oh man, you want to talk about an ego challenge? I was barbacking Friday, Saturday.
Yeah.
And I was promoting, or Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and I was promoting on Wednesdays.
Really?
So when you're the promoter, you're like the man of the house. You got your drinks, you hand out your drink tickets, like blah, blah, blah. And then barbacking's like you're the bottom of the barrel. Like you're picking up all these people's shit and like.
Wow.
So I became close with Jeff because I was promoting with Kenny. We let Jeff DJ our parties. And Jeff was like, "Hey, man, what do you want to do?" I'm like, "I want to get into finance." We connect. He's like, "Come in, work for me. I'll pay you $380 a week to be an associate of the associates."
Wow.
So I worked there. The problem was, though, all this happened over 2008, 2009. So my mom's birthday is February 2009. That's when I got really sick and I was still working.
Yeah.
But we were just feeling the effects of it then. And like I saw all these people. And it was a blessing because like it happened when I was just wanting to get into the industry, that whole crash. Because there's so many people lost their jobs.
Really?
They went from making high six figures to nothing because of the economic crash in 2008.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah, that was a crazy year, man. Like, the guy, you know what? If anyone's listening, like, and I hope this doesn't sound like self-tooting my own horn. I got all those opportunities myself. There was no nepotism there.
Yeah.
I pushed and I bugged and I annoyed the fuck out of them until they hired me.
Yeah.
Like people think because of my background, they're like, "Oh, you've had an easy life. You just get whatever you like." I worked at Brand House because I trained in jiu-jitsu and I became really good friends with this guy, Victor, and we would train 4 days a week. And he was like, "You're too small to be a bouncer." He was a bouncer. He's like, you could probably do it because I was training a lot back then. He's like, "You probably do it, but you're too small." Introduced me to the right guy at Brand House. Boom, became a busboy. Like it just, you put yourself out there and you can make your own opportunities. People wait and you never know where they're going to come from.
Yeah. Yeah. I noticed that too.
Like I got into jiu-jitsu because of Keenan.
Yeah.
And Keenan would beat the shit out of me. And he was here because he went to school in London. And then it was September and I was like, fuck that dude. I'm going to go train my ass off. Next time he comes, it's not going to be so easy. And then I joined Steve Lin Jiu-Jitsu.
Was it so easy for him next time?
No, it wasn't.
Sick.
He was always physically more powerful than me. Like if I have kids, they're going to gymnastics like as a child. Like you gain this like weird body control.
Yeah, Keenan's
he's a freak. genetically.
Yeah. He has a little black in him. Or
He
something.
does, right?
Like a little drop of.
You know,
it
my ex said,
Wow.
because she saw we were holding pads for each other once. She's like, his ass, that's black. There's no way that he's pure white. She was Pakistani. She's like, that's not a white man's ass. And I was like, what do you mean? I've never looked at it. And then I looked at it once. I'm like, oh yeah, she's right. His legs are super thick, and he had this like.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, like everyone thinks everything's so hard. You need to be given things. Like I truly think if you push hard enough, I'm not like a super successful person. I'm not like some millionaire sitting on top of a mountain being like, I found the formula. But
yeah,
if you really want something,
yeah, it's true. No nepotism. That's good. Jeez. Wow, I didn't know all that.
Everyone thinks I've had nepotism. It's funny.
Of
like,
course, because you're white, you cisgendered male. You're. That's exactly what it is.
I know.
That's exactly what it is. There's no don't or like dancing around it politically correct. You're Jewish. You're from Richmond Hill. Like that's the ultimate assumption. That's my assumption. Like right away.
No, I've been working since I was 15. When's the youngest you can work? 14.
Yeah,
McDonald's.
14, 15, I believe.
McDonald's. I started working at McDonald's as a front of house. The cashier.
You're a cashier? Look at you.
I know. So I worked at McDonald's, and then I worked there for about a year and a half. Then I started working at Silver City. I've been working since I was 14, and somehow in the summer I'd get more full-time jobs. I've worked like construction. I worked in a marble factory where I'd actually have to pick up with a crane the big marble slabs.
Yeah.
I've worked in restaurants. I've worked in bars and clubs. I've worked selling art. I worked selling landscaping. I worked in a book. I had one summer job. I worked in a book warehouse.
Really?
So like Walmart would send an order for books, and I have to go and pick all the books and put it onto a slab and send it to them.
Order picking.
Fuck, that job was so hard.
Yeah, I did order picking for a long time.
And like they wouldn't let you listen to music because they're like safety hazards. I'm like, what? The books are gonna fall on me? They're like up to my nose, max, any one of them. But you know what? I had a lot of fun because like I worked at this. It was Adecco temp agency.
I worked at Adecco. I worked for UPS through Adecco.
Yeah, so I went to Adecco, and that's how I got the job selling art, and that's how I got art. Fuck, they just got me to cold call people to sell art, and it was like $14 an hour. I'm like, I'm loaded at that time. And then I worked at the book place. I worked at my dad's computer store. Yeah, a lot of different jobs.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I look back at it now, and it was a gift because I learned how to connect with many different people.
Yeah, man. I've worked like 40 jobs, and like that's the one thing I came away with. Like I can just like meet anybody, and I can like build rapport really quickly, and it's just like get along with anybody. It is a gift at the end of it.
And you never look down on people.
No, because you just
like I would work with people who are 50 years old working at a book factory, and you hear that like, why are they fit? But you know what? You never look down on people. You're just like everyone has their own story.
Yeah, their own shit to deal with and stuff. Wow, look at you. All that stuff. I didn't know all that. I didn't know you worked that stuff. I worked all those jobs too. Never sales. I felt great when I worked my first sales job. I think I was like 27. I was working at like Kudo. I was so pumped. I was like, this is it. My life's going to change now. I'm working this job.
I do love sales. I love it. Yeah, fuck. That's a lot of jobs.
Yeah, I had like 30 at least because I would just switch like every 3 months because I hated every job I'd work. And I'd always like, it'd be like soul sucking to me. So like I got really good at getting jobs. Like I just knew how to do an interview properly. Plus
the only soul sucking job I had was HSBC.
HSBC. What is that?
A bank.
Yeah.
As a teller.
You're a bank teller?
I lasted 4 days.
Why?
I hated it. They lied to me. They're like, yeah, hours are 8 till 3:30, and I'm like, amazing. And they're like, oh, but that's when we're open. You got to come in like an hour before. You got to leave an hour or two late. It was like, and they want me to stay till 7. Like, there's no GO train because it was deep downtown. I lived in Richmond Hill.
Sure.
I'm like, I'm not commuting all this shit.
Wow.
And I left, and I don't know.
What was the worst job you had? You felt was that the worst one?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what my worst job. I think my worst job. It would be between working at a mattress factory where they were using like cancerous material. You know, if you got a bed and your bed has a soft top, they attach that soft top with some pretty fucking lethal shit. It's really bad. I remember I didn't have a mask, and he was like, "Don't worry, you're fine." And like I read it, I'm like, "This is not good." He's like, "You'll be okay." And I was like, "Fuck."
That was like me at the Marble. So like I worked at Marble. They do really great work actually, but they do countertops, tables, and the way you cut it, you got to use a water saw. So that's what I had. There was a saw made with diamond blades because diamond's the only thing that would cut it.
I know.
And the calcium and the shit would, and I would be like, I'm breathing all this stone in every day.
Actually, you know what? Actually, now that you mention that, the worst job I was doing driveway sealing with a man that will remain nameless. I won't say his name, but I remember I got really bad, and I remember I had to go to the doctor, and I was like, "What's wrong with me?" He's like, "You're experiencing some kind of chemical burn. There's been a chemical burn in your chest." He's like, "You have to stay away from whatever you're doing." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, it's a chemical burn." I was like, I was shocked. So shocked. Yeah, that was one of the worst ones. A lot of bad jobs.
My cousin Lee, I got to give him credit. He was like, if you become a server or a bartender, you'll always be able to make money anywhere in the world.
It's true.
So that's what pushed me into the service. My first job in the service industry was dishwasher at 16 at Il Piatto.
Dishwasher?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Dude, it's so funny how many friends of mine made fun of me for the jobs I did. Like, why the fuck? I never looked down. I was just like, yeah, whatever, man. Washing dishes, making $10 an hour cash is fucking great.
It's a good job, yeah.
And back then, $10 an hour cash, I felt balling.
Yeah.
And then, you know what? Something else they taught me. I always was waiting around, like promoting a server. They like would never see me as a server. I went to Canyon Creek. I became like one of their top servers.
That's how it is. I mean, the last place I was at, they never looked at me as like a marketing or video person. Even though that's what I wanted to do. And now here we are.
Fuck, top servers. That was so brutal at Canyon Creek. They actually like would put a list. They had like different categories on like service level, complaint, like your dollar bill average, blah, 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 blah. And I was always the top like 1 to 4. And like you got special privileges if you were in the top 10.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And
So
I felt like, I'm in the
special.
top 10, man. Fucking great. All because I would just talk to people. The service industry. I'm going to go on a rant. Can I go on a rant? The fuck has happened to the service industry in Toronto, man? It's like they treat you like, what are you doing at my table? It's like really? It's so, I'd be like, I'm a server. I'm part of your enjoyment tonight. True. Like I'd get there, talk to you. What are you guys doing? Why are you out? Oh, you're out on a date. What are you going to do next? You're going to see a movie? What movie are you going to see? I don't know. I'd print like the movie times, give them the movie times. Like, yeah, here you go. So you guys can make an idea and like shit like that. And I'd always get 20 to 25% tip all the time.
Wow.
You do a few different things and you make, like I'd make, fuck all that money I spent. I'd make like $200-300 a night cash.
That makes sense.
I was good at it. But you know who hated me was all my other servers because I hated the like polishing the silverware stuff. Yeah. And I got in trouble because I'd be like, hey, busboy, I'll give you an extra like $15. Want to do all my? They're like, yeah, man, it takes half an hour. Sure.
Yeah.
And then people be like, you can't abuse the busboys. I'm like, they're loving the money. What are you talking about? Abuse.
They just wanted to slow you down.
I know.
There wasn't a term back then, but the term now is haters. Those were haters.
No, they were. I think the term hater was back.
Well, how long ago was it? Hater wasn't too prevalent back in the day.
It was all around that same year, man. It was all around that
10
time.
years ago?
Like, fuck, I'm that old now. I can't actually remember the years.
Yeah, you sound old. You're like, in my day, in the service industry, I printed out movie times.
Pre-smartphone days.
Yeah, right? Back in the buttons.
Smartphones, I love them, but fuck, has that changed a lot.
Yeah. As soon as the buttons went away, things really changed.
I was working at One Financial when the first iPhone came out, and people were losing their minds.
Of course.
Because like it was like, oh my god, look at this cool little tool and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I got my little. How badass I felt when I got my first BlackBerry, and I like had the clip.
Yeah, so did I.
You're either a drug dealer or some sort of like guy like in finance. Like you're like someone who can fuck people up. You got that clip phone.
I definitely wasn't in finance. That's for sure. Yeah, my BlackBerry, man. I was so happy when I got that. I got the Pearl. I think I had something before the Pearl.
No, I had the Pearl was newer and they were trying to push me to. I'm like, no, I want the thick, like with the keyboard.
Yeah. I got the pearl. I had all sorts of black.
We've gotten too good at making shit that we don't get excited about shit anymore.
No, of course not. Like, well, I mean, we will get excited about something, but
Like
I
what?
feel like the next thing we'll get excited about will be like little not good. Because the next thing we're gonna get excited about is like something that can just be on you or in you.
My dad would always make that joke, look, I'm going to do this and my phone's going to be in my head and blah, blah, but it's going to happen.
Yeah.
It scares me, man. Black Mirror.
Yeah.
You watch that show?
Of course.
Anyways, that's where we should end it, I think, today. So,
and then on that depressing note, the next thing is going to be very detrimental to everyone's health.
But no, guys, thanks for tuning in. Honestly, the reason we're ending is I'm very hungry. We have a guest coming in like an hour.
You're hungry.
I'm hungry.
What are we going to eat?
I don't know. We'll go find something. But we want to be on point with our guest.
Oh, I'm always on point.
So thank you. If you listen to this whole thing,
what are we gonna do? What the next 20 episodes, like we said, will be our next 10 episodes.
the next 10 episodes are gonna be great. We have
Here, let me just look, and I'll tell you what the name's gonna be like. Here we go. Wow.
who?
Holy shit.
Who do we have?
It just gets straight. It goes from straight informational to just like spirit.
Who?
It's just everybody who we're talking, like it's Roland, it's Tracy, it's Andy, it's Selena, like it's
Darren.
crazy. Yeah, Darren, like it's nuts.
So guys, you want to upgrade your spirit, talk about some things. It's good to listen to, and
Keep
you know,
watching.
Yeah, come on, guys.
The
Migraine Rescue's running out of money. We're gonna need to find new sponsors. We should do a migraine episode.
What do you mean migraine?
Like you interview me
On Migraine Rescue?
on the Hearty Gentleman, and then we should do a standardless media one.
Yeah, well, that was like that. Like you just like that story was that's pretty impactful, and that was your what 23 to like now. So it's like
no, there's been a lot more stuff. But
well,
yeah.
no, like how many years was that? Like
Yeah, actually, 24, 20. Yeah, 23.
so like a lot can change.
Isn't it
for
crazy
a
how you
young
can
guy.
sum up? Like, yeah, give me like the 10-minute pitch of your 7 years.
Yeah. But no, it's like just because like we're always talking to young men on here, it's like a lot can change for you in that time. Like you can be at a point where you feel like you might have cancer, and you can like really turn
I was
shit
such
around.
a hypochondriac. Fuck.
That's what I was also gonna say. It must have been horrible for you because you're a worrier.
Dude, I was on internet every day, WebMD, and it was like I'd wake up sweating in the middle of the night, like all these symptoms to cancer.
I had that when I was smoking. When I was smoking really heavily and I couldn't quit, I constantly thought because like my dad had cancer, and I was really really scared that I was gonna get it.
You know, my mom said to me with words of comfort.
What?
Big words of comfort. She goes, "Sick people don't just get better. You're getting better every day. You don't have cancer."
True.
Because there was a point where I started to improve. She's like, "You don't have cancer.
Yeah.
You're getting better."
True. Huh.
Anyways, guys, so thank you, and
Stay tuned for the conversations because we're trying to bring something different to the podcast world, and I think we have. I really do.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see you next episode, but we'll do this format again in 10 more on the 21st episode.
Yep.
Okay. Bye.
Peace.
Bye. That was the best one me and you have done.
Yeah, that was much